Thank you for being here. This is a special night.
We do find ourselves at an incredibly special moment here tonight, one that invites both celebration and reflection for this significant occasion to honor Guy Fraker. I stand here before you as mayor of this town, and we have not had a crowd like this in years, if ever. This is amazing.
We find that to be very important that you are here today.
Thank you for believing in Athens. Thank you for coming to Athens.
We think it's very important to preserve the history and the stories here in our community.
Thank you, all of you, for coming. Thank you, Guy Fraker, for your indelible contributions to the Abraham Lincoln community and a part of the way that you've given so much of your heart and soul to the study of Mr. Lincoln lives in all of us.
I really admire Abraham Lincoln.
It's always been the character of Lincoln that has stood strong.
Like everywhere Mr. Lincoln went, he gave a piece of himself.
So he gets in your system and he makes you want to be a better human being, and that's powerful. That's Lincoln.
I have loved and admired Lincoln for most of my 87 years.
He was amazing. This brilliant man with the command of the language like no president has ever had. He was fearless, too. I mean, he was a natural at meeting people. He was a very astute trial lawyer, one of the best.
You don't know about Abraham Lincoln, the president and perhaps our greatest American,
I've always believed that Lincoln was the greatest American president
without understanding where he came from,
because he was a great lawyer.
and that is the lawyer Abraham Lincoln.
From his earliest published speech, he's talking about the importance of the rule of law.
There are lots of people who really focus on Lincoln, the lawyer. And I have said,
And if you want to know the lawyer Abraham Lincoln, Bob Willard said, you have to know the lawyer Guy Fraker. On April 27th, 1938, Guy Fraker was born in St. Joseph, Missouri. He then grew up in White Plains, New York. But his heart and mind has always been in Central Illinois. And in 1948, Guy made his first trip here.
Came to Central Illinois, as we did every other year from New York, and I learned about New Salem that way.
And Aunt Lola took him to New Salem, took him to the Lincoln Tomb, took him to the Lincoln House, and in some ways captured his heart before Ruth Ann did.
And I settled to practice law in Central Illinois.
And Guy then returns.
When it came time to graduate from high school in the East, all my friends saying, "Why are you going back there to college?"
Dashing Guy Fraker has all the places to go on spring break. His friends are going to Florida, they're on beaches. Guy comes to Central Illinois.
From the time I was like in junior high, I knew I wanted to be a Central Illinois lawyer.
And that was when his beloved Aunt Lola had passed, but his grandmother, Leela, brought him here to Athens.
I'm greatly honored because of these connections to Athens to have this privilege
He
tonight.
graduated from University of Illinois twice, not because he had to repeat any classes, but an undergraduate in 1960 and from the law school in 1962.
But one of the reasons that I wanted to come back to Central Illinois is because this is where Abraham Lincoln was a lawyer.
Guy has taken approximately at least 50 tours around the 8th Circuit, which is fascinating in and of itself. You know, Mr. Lincoln traveling by wagon for almost 20 years. Only when he, went to U.S. Congress, comes back, still travels the circuit.
Without President Lincoln, Illinois would be a very different place, and certainly this whole area and region would be a different place.
And this is the land of Lincoln.
Kind of like what he said in his going away speech in Springfield. Everything he is came from Illinois.
This is where Lincoln learned to be the person that he became.
The Long Nine is part of it. That's a great story, of course.
So the Long Nine Museum tells a story about Lincoln as a young man.
And they celebrate it upstairs. The history is unique, and this place is so important, and it's so thrilling to see it saved. The people of Athens are the ones that saved it. You just sense Lincoln's presence, and that's what's so special about this place.
Lincoln, he was right in the thick of it, right in the circuit.
There are 3 books, really, that you ought to read, at least in part, if you want to know about Lincoln the attorney, which means Lincoln traveling Central Illinois and the people that he met.
Guy Fraker has also traveled the circuit He's spoken in many of those courthouses, and he's captured so much of who Abraham Lincoln was as a lawyer.
And those 3 books in order of publication: 1892, written by Henry Clay Whitney, who was a good friend of Lincoln's. It's called Life on the Circuit with Lincoln. That was the first real authoritative look at the topic.
Herndon as a lawyer is our kind of our bedrock for stories about Lincoln on the circuit. But he didn't travel with him much at all. Henry Clay Whitney traveled a lot with him.
Turns out that Whitney wrote another book, and Whitney called it Lincoln the Citizen. And the 3rd book is Guy Fraker's.
And of course, you're the author of Lincoln riding the circuit and going through all those county courthouses.
You'll learn that Guy Fraker is the best of the 3.
This is for you, Guy.
Tonight we're presenting you with the John Eden Award.
Guy wrote another book. This was a success. So you have 2 books to be proud of.
There's a well-written letter here from Christine Schott. She is giving you a book and a very well-written letter which describes your accomplishments and your contributions to Lincoln lore and to the continuation of the tradition that Lincoln has left for us.
We're going to do a toast to Mr. Fraker, just as Mr. Lincoln did a toast to moving the Capitol on August 3rd, 1837.
The enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln is his character.
Lincoln lifts all of us up.
He had honesty, he had empathy, he had compassion, he had intellect, he had vision, and he had perseverance, and he had courage. And these are things we'd like to emulate.
Mind of a logician, the heart of a preacher, and the soul of a poet. And when those 3 components reside so completely in one human being.
Indeed, he was the great emancipator.
Somebody special.
It's Lincoln's dedication to something larger than himself that I admire most.
Lincoln implored us to seek the better angels of our nature.
Something we need in our civics today, but it's also something that I admire in Guy Fraker, who's dedicated himself to that.
But not just for ourselves, but for the advancement of humanity. And that's what I see in Abraham Lincoln, and that's what I see in Guy Fraker.
You did it because you're dedicated to something greater than yourself. And I just thank you, Guy, and thank everyone for being here for Guy.
Guy, thanks for being my colleague in law.
Always a pleasure working with you, Guy.
You're kind of going to be a legend, you know that. So eat your Wheaties and stick around, because we need you.
You have done so much for the advancement of our community and for humanity. Thank you very much for what you've done.
To our beloved honorary guest, Mr. Guy Fraker.
Whatever we do, we will be remembered in spite of ourselves. So, whatever you are, be a good one.
Often over the years, I've attended many Lincoln events, fine Lincoln events, but none of them has touched me more deeply than this. So I thank you very much for that.
To Mr. Fraker, thank you.